And that is why some people bitch
Hmm.
a lot when they rant. It doesn't work. I hate my life. Things went sideways. My SP journey didn't work after 2 years, 4 years, 6 years, 20 years. They are angry.
Here we go again. I'm back on the channel with Harris, as you can see. And for those of you who have been following my channel for quite some time, you will remember Harris because he has already appeared 2 times on my channel in the Success interview playlist, which you find in my playlists. And we decided to bring Harris back on because he also felt that he wanted to share some newest insights, some revelations, some updates on his manifestation journey because he has really been taking it deep when it comes to those teachings. Hey guys, it's Nicholas here. I'm currently editing this video for you, and my recommendation to you is that you watch it till the very end because there is a part of the conversation between me and Harris which happened after the main video. So when we actually pressed stop and we wrapped up our conversation and the interview, I decided to keep the recording on. And then in that final part of our conversation, which actually wasn't even intended to be edited into the video, there were actually quite a few of truth bombs that me and Harris dropped. Very important insights so that you can feel more empowered on your manifestation journey. And I decided to cut those insights in. So you will right now find the main part of the interview around 45 minutes, right? And then at the very end, there's like 5 to 10 minutes where there's just like a raw conversation where we, just speak about some more things. And again, I decided to cut that in to empower you guys. So now enjoy the interview with me and Harris. And also let me know in the comments down below if you liked that interview and if you gained some wisdom out of that. And I'm very happy, Harris, to welcome you back on the channel. It's good to see you, man.
Good to see you, Niklas, and thanks for having me again.
Definitely, definitely. And we talked about some very interesting topics at the site, me and Harris. Like we always have contact and exchange what is going on in the manifesting space. And Harris shares with me his revelations and his observations. And now we want to kind of like bring it into this video to give you an approach for you that is slightly different to what I usually share, what Neville usually talks about, like a more bolder approach as well. So, yeah, Harris, right? One thing that you oftentimes told me about is the way that you manifested over the years and months has changed, has become more direct, more bold, and less trying to fit yourself in like a box of you should do it like this and you should do it like this. So, would you like to tell us what you think about making manifestation, making your own way of how we manifest? What do you think about that?
Well, during my journey, I shouldn't say forced, but I was led in a way to carve out my own path. And I realized, how Neville explained the law. He explained the law, through his perception, and he used the Bible. He had Abdullah for 5 or 7 years, I don't remember.
Yeah.
So he was influenced, and I resonate with his original message. But during my own journey, I understood that there is no one path to be able to manifest. There are many paths as long as you adhere to the core message. And the core message is, we all are, first and foremost, energetical beings, and it's all connected. So, so I'm more into this, call it energy bubble,
Mm-hmm.
more as I see it now, and I'm seeing so many synchronicities and things coming to pass, people saying things and occurrences that were in a way unbelievable, but they really aren't because they stem from me. So I realized that I don't have to do everything right,
Yeah.
as many content creators out there,
Mm,
how
mm,
they try to sell it and package it. I realized that I don't have to safeguard my thoughts all the
mm-hmm.
time. I don't have to safeguard my emotional being all the
Mm,
time. I don't have to feel positive all the time or
mm-hmm.
happy.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not about those things.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what I've come to realize, that I can just be me. It doesn't really matter how I feel or what has taken place.
Yeah.
I can be me and still be able to manifest the full fruition of my desire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love how you put that. So without micromanaging and nitpicking like all those things that arise, right? Because we, as you guys have to understand, Harris is also very often within the calls, the Q&A calls and the coffee chats that we do inside the community. So Harris, you're always also noticing, right, when people ask things such as, hey, this emotion came up, or this sadness came up, or I woke up today and I was in like a low energy type of mood. So am I now out of the wish fulfilled? And those type of this is nothing bad, but I mean it's like as you figured out, wait a sec, this does not need to take away anything from me, and I can let those things happen, but this doesn't really determine if I do something right or wrong. So how did it felt like for you when you discovered that those things, like having a negative thought here and there coming up, having a also lower mood, like you woke up with the wrong foot out of your bed, so to speak, but still, how did that felt for you?
You mean now or how it felt prior?
Both would be interesting. Both would be
Well,
interesting. Yeah.
well, prior it was more, trying to do it correctly. And we most times, we hear different content creators, you have to do it right. You have, thought transmission, your inner dialogue has to be perfect. If you react, you are out of the state. All of a sudden, we adopt that as being the truth
Mm, mm,
without really thinking, well, does it really have to mean if I reacted that I am out of the state?
yeah.
Or if I'm having thoughts for a whole day or even a whole week,
Mm-hmm.
is that the same thing as something is ruined or something will be taken away from you?
Mm-hmm.
So it is all what we give meaning to, because we are human beings. We cannot separate, let's call it, the lower side of ourselves, the
Yes.
one that reacts, that might feel sadness, feel discomfort, reacts, has bad thoughts or negative thoughts. It's still a part of us,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but you don't have to, box that and put it away like it
Mm,
doesn't exist. It
yeah.
can still be a part of you on your journey throughout your life, but it doesn't mean that it'll ruin anything for you.
Yeah.
If you believe that it'll ruin it for you, well, guess what? You are kind of calling it forth and
Mm-hmm.
jinxing
Yeah. I
it.
agree.
So I'm all about don't jinx it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And also, if I have appropriated, if I've already appropriated state once, why do I need to do that again?
Yeah.
Who am I trying to remind?
Mm.
Who am I trying to convince? My my higher self or my conscious and subconscious, they already know what I want.
Yeah.
So I don't need to, keep drilling that further in and keep hammering that in. That is not required.
Yeah. Nice. Very, very like deep revelation, also very powerful and freeing, as you said, right? It frees you from I need to do all of this perfectly. What would you say where this does come from? Like where did this new revelation, this new paradigm that you developed in your own journey? Like I didn't push that onto you. You just came up with that and said, wait, I can just do it like this. Like Neville's teachings, cool, amazing, powerful, but I don't have to stay in that box of those teachings. I can make it my own way. But what would you say? What led to that? Was it simply your observations of also other people's journeys? Was it your own practices, your own manifestations, or was it all of that accumulated? Like, what led you to that new paradigm?
Well, first and foremost, I have to say, some things come into fruition when I want them badly. I couldn't detach even if I wanted to,
Mm-hmm.
right? I
Mm-hmm.
was so attached, and there was this desire, there was a burning desire, and I literally couldn't kind of set it aside and let it cool
Mm,
off.
yeah.
And it still happened. I'm like, okay, it was like interesting because many say we should detach. I'm like, but now I see that I don't have to detach. And given that, that kind of led me down the path where I'm like, well, of course that I don't have to detach, because all of us came to these teachings because we want something.
Mm,
The magic pill, the magic secret, the hidden secret, the magic pill, whatever the edge, something doesn't really matter. All of us approach this out of selfish reasons. Even I, even
yeah.
I,
Mm-hmm.
I admit to that. So why should I play around like, oh, I don't want that, or I should detach from it? No, I
Mm,
I know why I want it. and
Mm.
I'm going after it boldly, wholeheartedly.
Yeah. Hmm.
And some things come to fruition led me to that realization that I was like, okay, I don't have to detach.
Mm.
Okay, my mental um, my inner talk, my inner dialogue wasn't perfect. It still came to fruition.
Yeah.
I reacted. It still came to fruition. And I was like, hold on a second.
Hmm.
I'm seeing something here.
Hmm. Hmm.
What is the common ground? The common ground, I wanted something and I assumed that to be true for me.
Yeah.
So even if I had this huge cloud of disturbance, it still came through.
Hmm. Very nice. Well, okay, I totally got that. I have a question for you, and this is something we talked about on the side also before we started the call. So my viewpoint on why this is the case, that you are
Mhm.
able to just like decide and also know that all of the arising things are not carrying
Mhm.
you away, are not bad. I
Mhm.
told you I think this stems from your increased confidence in yourself because you have understood who you really are, you have tested it, you have applied it, you gained more wisdom and all of that. Would you agree with that? Would you have something to add on that, or what do you think? Is
Of
that
course, I mean, experience, of course, that is first and foremost, going through this journey. And some things can never be taught,
mm-hmm.
when you read about them. And it doesn't really matter how much I explain or you explain to someone. Some things have to be experienced. So I
Yes.
had that, learning curve when it comes to experiencing things on my own. But also, as I said, I have to be able to be fully me,
Mm-hmm.
even if I'm feeling that I'm off or if I'm balanced.
Yeah.
And trust that, the state behind it all is the one that's pushing along everything
Mm-hmm.
for the certain manifestation to come to fruition.
True. Yeah, true. I would like to maybe conclude this one topic that we briefly already talked about, which is making it your own mold, making it your own way, like not putting yourself in the box. Like there's like maybe, I don't know, the law of attraction box, there's a law of
Mhm.
assumption box, if we also want to call it like that. But you figured out, hey, I don't want to buy myself fully into any of that. I make it my own way. I know this is all true, but
Mhm.
still, I want to find my own way, be my own authority, be my own operant power. Now, for someone
Mhm.
that is watching us, watching my videos, watching other content creators, learning about manifestation, what, let's just say, tip would you maybe like to give them, first of all, so that they can step into their own power and make it their own way? Because as we notice, right, in the calls, in the community, and all of that, is that people always say, hey, I actually enjoy to say, I remember when, am I allowed to do that? And then others say, hey, so I have this scene, but it is a little bit longer than usually recommended. Is it still good? And I also always, of course, try to tell everybody, hey, if it helps you to shift, if you enjoy it, then it's perfect. You don't have to copy exactly every word of me. I'm giving you a paradigm, but take what helps and then apply it so that you get the results. What do you have on mind on that? You're smiling, so you know what I'm talking about. What do
Yeah.
you think?
Well, for me, it was when I kind of allowed myself to go off script,
Yeah,
literally.
yeah, yeah.
Just stop listening to how you should do it and
Mm,
try to figure out your own approach and your own path.
nice.
Because many people out there listen to different content creators and try to follow their lead. But the thing is, no one can adopt someone else's approach fully.
Yes.
It
Yeah.
doesn't work.
True.
Yes.
True.
So I have come to that level where I literally am abandoning, every approach there is out there.
Mm-hmm.
I believe
Mm-hmm.
like 10,000 different approaches at least, and literally doing my own thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I, where I am at now, I don't feel that I need techniques or another approach. I got my own ground
Yeah.
to stand up.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't feel that I'm missing out on something.
Mm.
I don't feel that, and I actually I think this is the biggest thing. I actually feel there's nothing more to get or understand or grasp.
Yeah.
Really isn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it has literally come down to me and my own awareness.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Those two
Nice.
things.
Yeah.
Just those things.
Mm.
No techniques, no meditation, no visualizing, no writing letters or scripting, because all of those things, if I would do them, apply those techniques, it just me kind of drilling, and re-drilling everything back again. Like, why? I already know what I want.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that desire is alive within me and the occupancy of it.
Totally got it. What would you say? How long did it took you the moment you where we, for example, started to work together? I don't know exactly when that was, maybe 2020, 2021, 2022,
2022.
2022. Okay. So okay, that's like 2 years. You would say that you had this curve of like going from starting and diving into all of this to this point where like, hey, teachings are great,
Mhm.
but I am a man of my own experience and I don't want to buy into only of that. And I empower myself and I do it the way I want to do it. So it's been like 2 years to get to this transformative point, you would say? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Nice. And what would you say, like something that you would like to share maybe with the audience, like that you manifested through that way, like through that just deciding it type of way and not letting any 3D seemingly obstacle, any 3D no movement, whatever, sway you off. Like, is there anything you want to share that has like happened through that direct approach?
Yeah, I mean, one thing, when this video comes out, I am the only one on your channel who has 3 videos. So I wanted a trilogy for
Yeah.
myself
Yeah.
because I don't know, it was a desire. I wanted it.
Yeah.
And also other things, professionally, jobs are, requests are coming through LinkedIn and people are contacting me. And, I want to be, sought after.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm not doing any obsessive thinking or visualizing, or I'm just
Mm.
being, and I feel freer. And other
Nice.
circumstances, socially, more dating, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah.
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 So it's I am, to be honest, I am less kind of surprised, when things pop up and
Mm.
come to
Mm.
fruition,
Mm-hmm.
because don't get me wrong, I still want the things that I want in 3D, but
Yeah.
they have kind of dropped the emotional grip over me
Mm.
that
Very,
they
very right.
that they once had. And it happened because, as I see it now, it was just a call it battle, me versus me.
Mm.
Why should anything have such a emotional grip over me?
Yeah.
Why is it so high up or so far fetched? And for me, it's a for now it's just daily life, day in, day out, and just going along and things pop up. Oh yeah, I imagine that, or no, I occupied that state, a couple of months ago or a couple of weeks ago.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It happened, and reassurance, of course,
Yeah.
along the way. But it's I am nothing but flow state. Right?
Mm. Mm.
Sure, I have days when I'm feeling off, but I don't see that as something that's kind of prohibiting me in my
Yeah.
advancements in life.
Yeah.
Not really.
Very nice. So you don't let this carry you away and you stay entangled in a bad day, how we call it, for a long time. Okay. I've three things on that, Harris. I listened closely. So the first thing you said with the trilogy, right, of our like videos together. I don't know if we actually did talk. Maybe you even said this while we recorded the first interview. I don't know, but I do remember that you said, yeah, like there will be three parts and something like that. And now this is the third part. So that's funny. So you guys, again, you can check out the first two parts I did with Harris. If you haven't watched them, I highly, highly recommend them. Not for my watch time, but those were just really, really good conversations. So that was the first thing. Do you have something that you want to add, Harris?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
also this is another thing that kind of struck me now that you're saying this third part
Yeah.
coming out, and also seeing, watching all these three parts, you'll see three versions of me, how
Absolutely.
far I've come in my journey, what I spoke of and how I spoke the first time, the
Absolutely.
second time, now the third time. And now that you're saying it, mentioning the three parts, it kind of made me, rewind, go back in time, and I see this huge difference. And one thing that has always been there, it was, you know, me and being bold
Mm-hmm.
about,
Yeah.
and daring to assume things. But, now it's more, I just kind of do it on the go more.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm.
every time something pops up within me as a desire,
Mm-hmm.
I always see that it's okay, there's a desire, and the state has been occupied at the same time.
Yeah.
So there is no, trial and error, to occupy it.
Mm. Mm. I
Me,
like
as soon
that.
as it comes up, it's occupied.
I have a question on that. I will ask you something on that. The only thing I want to say before I want to make it also practical and in your paradigm, in your approach
Mhm.
right now, is the second thing I wanted to mention is how you explained it, right? That it's just
Mhm.
you and your awareness, and you don't need any other content creators, you don't need any other like principles or like rules or stuff like that. That reminds me on a video that I recorded just today. Funnily enough, I had a video where it was about that you are the law, where Neville also had a quote where he said that you are this principle, like your awareness of being is the law. Like
Mhm.
it's you awareness that shifts, period. And then techniques, as we know, they're cool, they can be fun, they can be nice, but they are tools. So you don't have to attach to a tool for everybody watching. You can use it if you like, but as Harris is now coming to the revelation, is he knows that he essentially is shifting, he as awareness. So because we are that law, right? We are that awareness, we are that I am. So that's really profound, Harris. And that would bring me to this thing that you just started to mention. I would like to ask you, when a desire comes up, maybe you can repeat it in a practical way. When you feel, now I have this desire to get a raise in work or to date more, have another woman that I get to know, whatever it might be, how do you treat it? Like, how do you see it? And what do you do in a sense, if there is anything that you even do? How does that look like?
Well, before I would, occupy that state. Well, you said something. Now it's more like I am shifting, the whole of
Mm,
me shifting.
yeah, yeah.
It's kind of, branching off or making a left turn or a right turn, as
Mm,
I see it now, towards and this. But this, some things are really, really hard to explain because
yeah.
it is a inner experience. But I'd say for me, it's like emotional reaction, positive emotional
Mm-hmm.
reaction, like, "Ooh, it's occupied, it's there, cool, that's
Mm.
it."
So the moment it comes up, like the moment it
Yeah,
comes up, you already, yeah.
yeah. So it's a kind of auto response. It comes
Mm.
up, okay, occupied, done,
Nice. That's powerful. Mm-hmm.
on its own. So there is no, as I said, convincing my subconscious mind or conscious mind, or because who am I trying to convince
Yeah.
and why? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Nice.
So I guess, in itself, and if we will kind of dissect this, really to the core. So it's literally that my self concept has shifted when it comes to who I am.
Mm.
Not trying to change my self concept,
Mm-hmm.
but my self concept, as I see, it's like a something that's moldable, and I know
Mm.
every time I shift.
Yeah. I think it's the best like level to express the unexplainable. You know what I mean? Like, how do you want
Yeah,
to, yeah, talk about awareness? It's you, as you said. I loved how you said that earlier. It's like there is some things that you cannot teach. There is some things you cannot explain because it is simply us shifting. Like, how do you want to really explain it? I think you came really close to explaining it in a very good way.
yeah. And also, I would like to say this, me trying to explain this as I did now,
Mm-hmm.
this is what I believe that Neville meant feeling is a secret.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Yeah.
It's just an inner sensation.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
What would you say to someone who is now in the, how I sometimes say, manifestation journey, which in of itself is again also like a journey. Like you're on a journey to become better. You need to still learn 1,000 things. But for the sake of conversation, to someone that is right now in their journey of applying it, testing it, applying it for their desires, what would you say are things, this question just popped up inside of me, that you feel are more going into the distraction direction? You know, we talked about, okay, everybody should find their own flow. Everybody should see, hey, what helps me? What resonates with me? What do I feel comes effortlessly and nice to me? How do I like to shift? But have you seen some things in your own observation where you would say that is even slightly maybe limiting in your own point of view? Or would you say, no, even those things can be great for someone?
Yeah, the biggest distraction is, subscribing to 15 different content creators who are talking about this and trying, this one said that, this one said this, but how do I make this work?
Yeah.
And you feel stuck, but, there is, inner speech, there is thought transmission, and you are all over the place. You don't know what to do.
Yep.
So you get stuck.
Yep.
Then you react. Oh, then you catch yourself. Oh shit. And it's a trap. Yeah. So you have to, first of all, you have to allow yourself, to ease your way into it and figure out what works for you. No one can teach you that. Others out there are just trying to give you their approach.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that approach is suitable for you. So there has to be discernment.
Yeah.
And also, and for some reason, we take that as solid truth, what other content creators say, and like, no, it's like this. I have to correct myself. I have to think better thoughts. I have to stay positive. I have to do this. I have to do that. So you're literally trying to kind of separate the part of you and kind of box it and then kind of hide it away. And you're like, okay, I'm going to stay positive. Oh, look, there's the negative side, but it's still coming.
Yeah.
It's coming for me.
Yeah.
So bring everything in one, and then you shift the good, the bad, and the ugly all together.
Totally got that. What would you say? I just had a question on that. What would you so you would say that all of this also means that not trying to ignore seemingly like negative circumstances, like to just be like more welcoming it all in. That's what you meant, like welcoming a negative emotion, welcoming a seemingly negative circumstance, and then once we're calm, then to decide and move and shift. Or how did you mean that?
Well, yes. Well, first, all the negative things, let's say it's here, and this is a positive thing, the positive you and the negative you. And many out there say, when there's a negative thought, counter it with a positive thought. Right?
Yeah.
If you have negative, mental diet, then counter it with some positive mental diet. But the thing is, then you will forever be safeguarding all time. You will spend a lot of time doing it right, trying to make it perfect.
Yeah.
You don't have to do that. You don't have to safeguard your thoughts. You don't have to safeguard your inner thought. You have to safeguard anything, because the state that is already occupied, it leads, it produces.
Very well said. Very well said.
If I have already appropriated the state, I've already done that. So what if I am spiraling, bitching, having some negative reactions, negative thoughts? Just let it pass through. When that is done, I'll be the state that I have occupied. It will still be there. It is not at all.
I have two questions on that. Why do you think people give so much meaning to those arising emotions, like to those arising thoughts? Like, would you say it is because they are more self-aware and they simply, through this journey, they notice it quicker? Would you say it's simply false programming, like they've learned that you have to get rid of that? Like if you have one negative thought, if you have one emotion that is not feeling joyful, you're not in the wish fulfilled. Like, why do you think that is the case?
I think because people are being misled
Mm,
by what others say out there.
yeah.
And they say, Amen. Yes, that is the truth.
Mm, got it. So they do less own critical like thinking, and they're just like following what the one guru, the one master said, but they're not like developing actually their own intelligence to see, hey, this one is wanting to help me, but I have to take everything word by word that they say. So you think it's also coming from the sense of just following blindly what someone teaches.
Yeah, I mean, when we start out, we have zero knowledge. And I think that, mostly people approach this teaching because of an SP. I'd say that it's maybe 6 out of 10 cases.
Yeah.
And when people are starting out, they want to grasp this, they want results. They are literally sucking every piece of information in without any discernment.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then a spiral, and they lose themselves. Am I doing this right? Is my scene okay? I have
Mm.
reacted. I have negative thoughts. My SP was an asshole. She was an idiot. He was mean. They left me. They dumped me. Maybe I have abandonment issues. And all of a sudden, we start to attach a lot of things that were never there.
Yeah.
We buy into them. And all of a
Mm.
sudden, we are incorporating these things into
Mm-hmm.
our realities.
Mm-hmm.
And we start to believe in them.
Yeah.
So it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. We are jinxing it.
Mm. Yeah. What would you say maybe as we move to like a conclusion of this, but I want to hear some more things that I think will be really helpful. But just
Mhm.
again, in a way of yeah, if I look at my list, right, we talked about making it your own way, like making manifestation, finding your own way, what works. In the beginning, I think we both agree it can be helpful to stick with something that feels authentic and true to you. That can be like someone you resonate with, and then say, hey, I tried. But then over time, you should, of course, become not dependent on their advice. You should not become dependent on they say the scene should be this long. You should do it like that, right? Then making it your own way. We talked about simplifying things. We talked about building trust in self, freeing oneself from doing it perfectly. That is what my question was. So, what would you say? Can we do it perfectly? Like, is there like a perfect way to manifest? Like, can we do it even
Yes
perfectly?
and no.
Mm-hmm.
Yes and
Okay. Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
So first of all, I'm gonna quote Neville. This isn't about doing perfect.
Mm-hmm.
It's about consistency.
Yeah. Nice. Nice.
And I can only, perform this perfectly for my own being, and I have to, really take into account everything and who I am
Mm.
to the best of my abilities. So in that way, I can do it, in a perfect way.
Yeah.
But does this require for me to be, totally free of, negative things?
Mm.
Could it be, negative talk, emotions, or other things? No, it doesn't require that.
Yeah.
So that is how to do it perfectly.
Mm.
Even if the negative stuff is coming in or coming up,
Mm-hmm.
think it through, feel it through,
Right.
just kind of purge it, let it all out, let it have its way.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
I agree.
doesn't ride you and who you are.
Nice. I think also there is like this the saying, right, that we know from Neville, where he said you have to be doers of the word, not hearers. And now, just through our conversation, I really feel that people get addicted sometimes to some degree into this being a hearer. And I think there is something missing till they can be their own doer and doing it confidently in their own way, because they always think there is something missing. I need this more advice. So yeah, but there is no perfectionism, as we just heard from Harris, and I fully agree. Um, there will be things coming up. We have this human limited side of us that will have a doubt, that will have a bad day, that will have a bad emotion, all of that. But who cares in a sense, right? But we want you to develop that boldness. Also, you said shedding, right? You shedded away everything that felt limiting on that journey. Is there anything
Mhm.
else that you shedded away when it comes to that more direct shifting approach where you simply have a desire that comes up and you automatically know it's occupied, boom? Is there other things that come to your mind right now? You shed it away, or did you already set the main things on that?
Well, one thing that kind of disappeared on its own was this fear of missing something, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Missing one more piece of information or some other form of advice or
Yeah.
some quote from Neville or
Mm.
whoever, right?
Hmm.
And also literally, liberating myself from everything that I don't see to be necessary anymore for me.
Mm.
So for me, it's like I can be myself. Doesn't really matter what the weather is outside. If I had a good sleep, bad sleep, if I'm really angry or annoyed,
Mm.
I can be that and experience that.
Yeah.
And I don't have to label that as something negative. I don't have to label that as something that's kind of throwing me off the bridge of incidents
Mm.
or in a way taking me maybe 3 steps back or
Hmm.
destroying or whatever.
Yeah.
So that is, to shed away that former belief
Mm.
that as soon as something comes up, like, oh, I have to, safeguard, repair, do things right,
Hmm.
have to kind of transcend, oh, there's a crack, chink, let me kind of erase that or fill that gap with something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just go,
Yeah.
go and trust. So trust and belief
Yeah.
comes into play.
I heard that within this very wise explanation right now. You said the word labeling, right? And that
Mhm.
is what we both have seen that a lot of people do is people have this automatic perception when something like that comes up, like, oh, I don't feel very happy today. And all the things you mentioned, they label it automatically as I'm out of the wish fulfilled. I have to do more again. I have to do, I completely lost my desire state. I have to start from the beginning on and be back in the desire state. It is now very far away separate from me. I lost the connection to it. And I think that is also something people need to stay aware of, to label these things either not at all and simply let them be there, not giving them a label, not giving them a story and perceiving them as neutral, or saying, hey, it's good that it comes up. It's stuff that's released, it's stuff that comes to the surface, and something that's at least more empowering, but not that disempowering way of, oh, I now lost it all. That's something bad. That's what I think is also, yeah, important. Nice.
Yeah, I agree. So even if we experience the negative things, allow yourself to experience all the negative things,
Yeah.
but don't label it or see it as something that is disrupting
Mm-hmm.
or uprooting the seed.
Yeah, got it. What would you say maybe as a concluding expression from you? Because I also know that you have a lot of wisdom inside of you that I feel should be, you know, literally pushed out to like people that people hear this. What is maybe like a message after everything we talked about, after your own journey, which will continue, of course? Is there like one or two things you would like to say to someone that no matter on which level they are, right? We will have people that started learn about Neville's teachings, law of assumption manifesting 3 days ago. We will have people in this over a year and maybe even longer than that. Right? As you know, we have some people joining the community and the program. They tell me they're like 10 years into manifesting, but still they feel kind of like lost in the whole space. So what would you like to tell like a watcher right now? Is there something?
You can be rest assured that you can bring the whole you into your state and have the full manifestation. When I say the whole you, I mean even if your whole life has been a huge mess,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't take away your ability to manifest and to progress in life.
Yeah. I love that.
So so don't see the past events as something that's gonna prohibit you or prevent you,
Mm, important.
yeah,
Yeah.
to be able to manifest. Because we are stuck with ourselves
Mm.
until death, right?
Hmm.
So we have, the positive sides and the negative sides. Why should we try to, separate those
Yeah.
and kind of try to bury the
Yeah.
negative
To
with
neglect like
positive?
those. Yeah. Mm.
Like
Mm.
blend them together into one and take, literally, take bold steps forwards.
Yeah.
Dare to believe,
Mm.
dare to imagine better than the best.
Hmm.
There is no need for separation. Everything is connected, the awareness and even us, right?
Yeah.
And we will never be able to disconnect from the negative sides of ourselves, incorporate and bring them in. This isn't about doing it. This isn't about perfection
Yeah.
or just sticking to the positive traits of you.
Mm. Hmm.
Blend them all together, mix it into one, and go and manifest.
I absolutely love that. This was just such a great final statement. I would keep it at that right now. And for
Mhm.
those of you guys, again, who want to connect with Harris, he has an own YouTube channel. He is a member of my program. You can chat with him there. Should you like to join us, you know where you find those links. And I want to say thanks to you again, Harris, for taking the time, coming on the channel, sharing your insights. Who knows? There might be like a fourth part on this whole series, and we continue. I know what you're doing. And because seriously, this is really, really helpful, I feel. And guys, let us know in the comments what you think, what you have to say about this, what your paradigm is. If you want to adopt Harris's revelations and try to implement that paradigm for your life, we would love that. And thanks for watching. Harris, thanks for being here. That was great.
Thank you, Niklas.
Nice. Bye, guys. I heard this once in a video where I really learned that the word should is could be or can be like a really toxic word when it's like, I should not think that way. I should not have thought that. I should have not reacted that way. Now it's all messed up and blah, blah, blah. I should always think positive. I should always be 24/7 the wish fulfill, like all that shoulds, and you need to do it like that. That, like you said in the call, that I feel is so limiting. Like is so we self-torture us when we buy into a box and now we only think that way instead of, hey, like guys, honestly, if I decide to cut that into the into the video, then like make up your own mind. Like what the hell? Like think freely. Like what the hell? Where are you? Like yes, there are content creators. Yes, this is nice, but Harris just said it. Like there is also a certain toxicity, if that's even a word, to that space,
Mhm.
guys. Right? So
Yes.
I share only as much as I know. I try to help you. Other content creators might do the same, but you have to see, wait, what stuff actually limits me? Where do I feel, oh, that's empowering, that feels great, and that can be whatever. And where do I maybe feel, I feel like I put myself in the box. So think freely, like wake up, guys. Honestly, like more people need to think for themselves. And Harris is a great example because he went into manifestation teachings. Neville was like an anchor point. He applied it, learned it, makes his own experiences. But then there's a point where you also have to make your own approach, like Harris expressed. So yeah, just some tough love in a sense. Because I know that at one personal conversation we both had, we wanted to let this rage mode out to tell people like, guys, apply it, be a
Mm.
doer, apply it in your own way, and think for yourself. Right? What do you think
Yeah.
about?
So okay, gloves off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gloves off. Okay, guys, I feel love for you, but stop being your worst enemies. And I really
Mm,
mean it.
mm,
So many content creators out there, and coaches and people trying to tell you how to structure your mind and your inner dialogue, how you should think and believe. If there's a negative thought, you have to come with a positive thought.
mm-hmm,
Why? Why do you have to safeguard? According to who? You are
mm-hmm,
buying into this
mm-hmm.
just because they're telling you. And you're like, yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true. I have to counter it.
Yeah.
No, you
Yeah.
don't. So even if you hate the world for a whole day, for a whole week, for a whole year,
Yeah.
just get it out. Get
Mm-hmm,
it out. At
mm-hmm.
some point, it will wane out. It will lose its intensity and its effect.
Yeah.
So instead of you shoving it down, pushing it down, building it
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
bigger and bigger and bigger, at some point you'll explode. And that is why some people bitch
Hmm.
a lot when they rant. It doesn't work. I hate my life. Things went sideways. My SP journey didn't work after 2 years, 4 years, 6 years, 20 years. They are angry.
Yeah.
It's
Mm.
all up,
Yeah. Yeah.
all the negative thoughts and emotions. And I think they were kind of suppressed. And at some point, it explodes.
True.
Get it out. It's better to get it out because so 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 here's the deal. Through our lives, we are stuck with ourselves from the beginning to the end.
Very true.
And for some people, unfortunately, they're here for 30 years. Some are here 100 years. Some are here 80 years. Make this enjoyable,
Hmm.
even if you are in the community of manifesting. You have to make this work for you.
Yeah.
Don't think of it as something that you have to suppress something,
Hmm.
negative emotions or beliefs. Let them, incorporate it all.
Hmm.
It's still a part of you,
Yeah.
but that doesn't determine anything. You determine, not the inner, ups and downs. And many will do their best to persuade you. They're like, buy my course, right? Get into my coaching program for
Yeah.
a month and I'll teach you everything. They won't.
Yeah.
I now know I can name drop many coaches that are literally shit out there,
Mm.
even if
Mm.
they charge good money.
Mm.
And I'm not saying this to elevate myself or elevate Niklas, but I see through I shouldn't say their deception,
The
but I see,
mask.
the mask, but also their narrow
Mm.
approach.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're just teaching you what they believe.
Yeah.
But I am saying something else. So is Niklas,
Yeah.
guys. So is Niklas, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
What we are saying is you can be yourself.
Yeah.
Even the ugly side of it can coexist with the beautiful side.
Yeah.
And you will still be able to manifest.
Hmm.
And you have to accept that for yourself. No coach can do it for you. No one can teach you that. There is no course out there for self-acceptance. There really isn't. No
Mm.
one can teach you that. Only you can accept yourself.
Now,
Not
right? There is no, there is no requirement. Like you can start now. You can start to practice it now, guys. Right?
yeah.
This is a lovely message. Yeah.
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 So don't be afraid of yourself.
Mm.
You've been with yourself for so many years
Yeah.
and you're still continue your journey with yourself.
Hmm.
You can you can run away from people. You can cut family ties and cut off friends and people from work, but you cannot escape yourself.
Yeah.
When you go to bed, you go to bed with yourself,
Hmm.
your thoughts, an emotional being,
Hmm.
right?
Very true. Very true.
Yeah. So make it enjoyable on the inside for yourself.
Hmm. I have two funny things on that. One is the topic of, like you just said, like inducing fun and non-seriousness in the manifestation approach. Because I really think some people like too insistent on, as we talked about in the main conversation, also to making it perfect, holding on to paradigm because they are afraid of, oh, if I let go of this paradigm, oh, I might have to think for myself. I might have to find something for myself. I better hold on to this, which actually makes me feel limited. So actually, guys, induce fun and don't take it like too serious. If you take your life too serious, if you take yourself too serious, come on, guys, right? You should have understood by now. Ego is an expression, but there's more behind that. You are not that. So if you are too attached to it, you take everything so serious, everything that arises, every emotion so serious, every thought, then well, yeah, you will perceive it as something that is very bad. So ease up a little bit, right? This is still like no one is perfect, right? We all just try to help each other some way out in this weird phenomena that we call life, but no one is perfect. No one has figured it all out. We can all just share to whatever degree of understanding we had. And then the second thing is, Harris, when you said that people, yeah, buy into certain paradigms from some coaches, I literally had one person tell me that they purchased a affirmation rampage, and that was the only thing they got. Like there was like a coach, and pretty big YouTube channel, and they purchased like a coaching. But what they got was just like a task. So a firm every time, like every day, 500 or 1,000 times this one statement. But that was the product they purchased. You know what I mean? Like, and that is what I'm sure meant with some people do have like a very narrow-minded approach. And again, I'm not portraying myself as perfect. No one here is perfect. We're all just sharing it. But also, guys, that's why we say make up your own mind. Like, wake up. So, yeah.
Yeah, you said it. Wake up, make up your mind, and also kind of dare to carve out your own path.
Yeah.
No
Mm-hmm.
one can teach you how to be you.
Yeah. I love that.